I knew I'd find something to talk about, you know? Like, and like the video from last week, like I recorded that like 2 minutes after this one. I recorded this one 2 minutes after that one. So of course I found something to talk about, right? So recently, and this is kind of like Catholicism and stuff too, but not necessarily only Catholicism and stuff. This is kind of just like to do with the wider culture and like perspective on like what how like things can take like sort of like an incarnation or like actually like you can draw meaning from certain things rather than just kind of like passive like um a passive like existence around it. So like what I mean is when it comes to things like if I can use music for example, because I've kind of been like, hey, what are you doing? Stop it. um so I've kind of like for music for example, um music that like most people know, right? um like there's very few songs that like let's just say across the nation, right? Across the world it's a little bit more difficult. Like you could probably find something, you know, but across the nation, songs that universally everybody knows are things like the Cha Cha Slide or I don't know what, Soldier Boy or something like that, Crank That. Nobody knows the song, the dance for that, I think, really, but the Whip and Nay Nay, you know, like the classic songs, you know, the Macarena, things like that, right? And why am I giving these as an example if this is going to be like a little bit more of a serious video? It's like most of my videos aren't that serious, so let's just get that out of the way. But I think this means something, right? Because when you read something like the Bible, or when you read any sort of book, or when you listen to any sort of song, it only means as much to you as something that like can do something for your life, right? So it's why would you listen to a song, or people don't usually listen to music unless they can draw some sort of meaning from it or like an experience from it that means something to them, right? So they're not necessarily like the song, like you might listen to the song for years and then one day you actually finally listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, I didn't realize this song was about shooting people or something, you know. But it is. But yeah, people usually draw like experiences that like brings them back to a certain time. It's like living memories for people. That's why it means so much to them. You can hear my dog breathing, I bet. So I'm making this video as kind of like a comment on a lot of my videos, because a lot of my videos are guilty of this, but also videos that kind of formed me in the last like 5 or 6 years. Like a decent amount of my thoughts and like kind of like the decisions I made at the time, things that I don't really like follow anymore, but you know, at the time meant a lot to me because it was like a way out of like certain bad habits. Maybe it kept me in them because like it was just kind of enabling me to like, you know, romanticize the idea of escaping it or whatever. But just there's certain ideas, right? There's certain videos, you know, that I wanted to convey, and a lot of what the past couple years gave me was like the idea of like why you need to do something, and like that's very important. You know, it makes a lot of sense. You need to have that, right? There's no completion of a certain act, or there's very little chance of it not being done in vain, or you know, not being done for vanity, if you don't have really a reason why, and it's like authentic, I guess, to you or to the good of other people. But a lot of people don't really move past that, and like I think a lot of these people that are on YouTube, like I said, I'm guilty of it. They don't necessarily show you what that means, right? So if they say, hey, you need a journal or something like that, it's good for you. There are benefits. It's like, yeah, well, show me what that's like. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's not necessarily how people teach or people learn really well. It's like people do a really good job of learning by imitating what other people do. So it's like, you know, you build like a house with your dad or something like that, or you fix up a car with your dad. The reason you know how to do a lot of this stuff isn't necessarily because you learn the reason why this is necessary. You can, if anything, infer that the reason why you need to do this stuff is because people need to live in it. You know, it's like this is once you see, like, you may not know the reason why until like after you're done with it. You know, that's like a lot of people's experiences with things. Sometimes they accidentally happen upon like escaping from a bad habit, and they realize that the reason why not to do this habit or not to engage in this habit or enable it or continue it is because of the things that you're experiencing now. Like you've grown in love, you've grown in more patience with people, etc. So you don't necessarily have to find the reason why to do something, which I think a lot of people on YouTube, like, it was kind of like an era for the past like 5 or 7 years where people on YouTube would just tell you why. This is why. The benefits. It's like it's so important. Blah blah blah. It's like the benefits are cool. Of anything, it's like why do you build a house? The benefits are you can live in it, or you can sell it, or you can do whatever you want with it, and like that's dope. But it's like who cares? A lot of the people. My dog is like playing over there, other stuff, but yeah, a lot of the benefits are obvious once you've completed the project. But if you never really complete it, then you're only really gonna get like transient benefits or just like temporal benefits. It's not gonna last. It's like it's just gonna be there for a little while, and it's like, how can I say it? So like if you wanted to start acting or something like that, I've never really been an actor, and I probably will never go into acting. It doesn't seem like my style. But if you want to be an actor, it's like you can think of all the reasons why it would be great. You can fantasize about it. You can like project it. You can tell people that you're going to be an actor. But until you actually go to an audition and get the role, like even in a shitty movie, or if you make like films yourself, it's like who really cares about your reason why being an actor is a good idea, or your reason why building like a soup kitchen is a really good idea. It's like it's like even a shitty person that does it is like they're a lot better off than you are, because if anything, they're experiencing the benefits. Why? Two, they can probably tell you about the negative effects of doing such things, because even if it's a positive, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to bring you a lot of like happiness or comfort. If anything, it might bring you a lot of pain and distress at times, because there's consequences to anything. And they also get to teach people, whereas you just have your theories and don't really do anything with it. And that's the frustration a lot of people feel when it comes to a lot of things in life. I'll say especially college students, like, because I am one right now. It's where you find out the reason why all these things are so important. Like for example, like I'm studying neuroscience, and you find out the reason why the subject is so important. It's very important. Like, it's insane. It would be insane for us to go forward as a society and not continually advance this into this field, because it would bring a lot of it would end a lot of suffering, because a lot of people suffer from these problems, and we could just generally solve them if like we answered quite a few questions in this field. And I can't speak for chemistry, organic chemistry, but obviously those things are just as important when it comes to pretty much anything that you have at your house. Plastic, that's more of a simpler one, but the pharmacy, that kind of stuff, where people you realize once you're in school, like, this stuff is actually pretty important. Cool. But you don't, that's the frustration a lot of students have, which, yeah, the why is very important, but they never really get to like the how to do anything about this. It's like you don't really give people the tools. It's like you tell somebody, like, a car is really important, why you need to have this car, blah blah blah, but they don't give you the tools or the instruction manual on how to build the car, or even the teacher, like, to show you, like, this is how you build the car. And it's like very important that you build a car this way. So apprenticeship is like obviously something a lot of students like value, because it's like you get like hands-on experience. Like, you're just naturally gonna pick up on things that you don't really get the reason why you're doing it at the time, but once you're like proficient at it, it's like, oh, I get it, and it's something you can't really explain to people all the time. It's like that, like a leadership quality. It's like you can't really teach leadership. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but whatever. Let's say I think it is. I think it is in some cases, but let's say you can't teach leadership. It's like, it's kind of one of those qualities. You can't really teach people what that means to like actually understand what these benefits are, or like how it can like better the life of the people around you and yourself too. Bro, what are you doing over there? Hey, get out of there. But yeah, like I was kind of talking about this in my previous video where I kind of wanted to do instruction videos, right? And right now I'm kind of doing the same thing where I'm talking about like why is a good reason, you know. And like I said, I think it's important, but it's like the results, like if they're never there, like who cares about your intentions, right? The reason why only gets you so far. So like when it comes to like the Bible or whatever, a lot of the problem I have with a lot of people that just read it and that aren't Catholic, obviously there's a name for them, but it's like they really get to the reason why, and they can teach Catholics a lot, and it's really cool that you understand like these ideas and like where to pursue them, but it's like what there's definitely like not a completion of the thought or the concept in this like passage or in this life lesson unless you do something about it. So the reason I was talking about songs earlier, like the Cha-Cha Slide and Soldier Boy and all that stuff, I don't know if I really ever addressed that or talked about it earlier, is because yeah, you can sit down and listen to a song. That's really cool. Like a lot of people get a lot of meaning out of the songs. A lot of those songs mean a lot to me. That's why I like country so much, is because you can kind of just sit and chill and listen, just kind of like it means something to you if you're just kind of like, like driving somewhere, walking somewhere. But if there's like a dance to it, like when I say the Cha-Cha Slide, or if I say something like the Whip and Nene or the Macarena or whatever, it's like you might not necessarily know what these songs mean, but the impact they have on your life is far greater, I would say, because I wouldn't say far greater, but it definitely there's definitely more more you can do with it, because now you get to like do with other people. It's usually that's the situation you find yourself in with these songs, is that you get to do the dances with other people, like the Gangnam Style. It's like the whole nation was just kind of like smitten with this song, and for a while it was just like that's what people were doing, and you got to share that with people. And it's like for a while, like the nation rested and we had good times, and it's like it provides that opportunity. It brings us together, and that's kind of like what the whole point of like things to do is. It's like this like thoughts and like ideas, or like I would say like the concept of being is like this shared experience and like this love that you can do with other people, even if it's just laughing or if it's just dancing with each other. It's like it has greater dimensions. When you listen to a song, you can listen to a song and it can mean a lot to you, and I guess, or whatever, like rap songs, for example. But if like you actually like can associate some sort of dance with it, and you can like continue to add dimensions, it can mean a lot more to a lot more people, and even people that don't understand it. Like my dad was kind of talking to me about this earlier, or not earlier, but a couple weeks ago, where even songs that like they didn't understand back, where he comes from in a different country, you knew who they were. You knew who these people were, and you could share that with the people across the border. And it's crazy, because like people don't really, we've gotten kind of caught up so much in, we can get kind of caught up so much in, doing like the menial things, like fixing a car, building a house, mowing the lawn. But when it comes to like really like important things in your life, like things that like actually need changing or whatever, like very deep and profound concepts, it's a lot more difficult to actually go do something about them. Like what does it mean to be a just person? What does it mean to be loving? What does it mean that the meek will inherit the kingdom of God, or whatever? I don't know how the verse goes, but it's like, what does any of that mean if all you know is like it in your thoughts? What does any of the organic chemistry that you learn mean if all it is in your thoughts, and then you die one day, and it's like, who cares? It's like, did you actually do anything with that? And it's like, that's why I think a lot of people, especially college students, feel useless once they kind of get to the upper levels of college and they graduate. It's like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do now? It's like really nothing. You feel like you really can't do anything, because like you never learned, or you never actually actively like did anything about this. You just like got ready to take a test. Oh, there's some cardinals up there. That's cool. you just got ready to take a test and then you moved on with your life. It's like you didn't really do anything other than like satisfy some teacher, and like they're not really even that satisfied either. Same thing with the Bible. It's like, yeah, cool, you have all these cool things in your heart and it's beautiful, you know, and hopefully you have a strong relationship with God, but it's like if you can't share that or, you know, give that to other people, then it's like, who cares? It's like what, you didn't really do much. Hopefully you're praying for other people, and that kind of like that can kind of help too, but it's like trying to do something with it. That's a lot of what we miss. And that's kind of what like I was talking about in my last video, when I want to do instruction videos, even if it's just like something stupid like juggling. It's like something I can share with other people, you know. And I think that's why TikTok is blowing up so much, and social media is blowing up so much. It's like we can kind of like share this part of ourselves, but it can be destructive at times. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. So, all right, deuces.